I'm Lee James, and welcome to another episode of Lessons in Jazz. Today we're going to discuss what every jazz piano player, every jazz horn player, maybe a few singers thrown in, have to learn, and that is the 2-5-1 progression. You can't get around it. It's in all of the jazz standard musics that we have to play. The Great American Songbook is full of them. All the original jazz charts that were written in the 50s, 60s, even up to today, all have 2-5-1s. You have to know how to navigate around them. It is definitely one of the must-have skill sets for the aspiring jazz improviser. So let's get started. We're in the key of C. Our 2 chord is D minor 7. Our 5 chord is G7, and our 1 chord again is C. And we move around the circle of 4ths, just that. Our next key is F. We've got to start on the 2 chord, G minor 7, C7, F major 7. Move around the circle again. Next key is B flat. Start on C minor. F7, B flat major 7. There it is. Next key, you get the idea. F minor, B flat, E flat. This is what you have to do, and you have to do it with your friend the gnome. Starting at C. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and so forth. What you're looking at on the circle of 4th is the key center. C major 7, F major 7, B flat major 7, E flat major 7. Those are the 1 chords. You have to add the 2 and the 5 going into them with your metronome running. Let's look at that again. C, 2, 5, 1, 2, 3. F, 2, 5, 1, 2, 3. B flat, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. E flat, and 1, and 2, and 1, 2, 3, 4. Got to do it. If you can't do it at that tempo, you slow it down to the tempo that you can. But this is what we're doing. 2 beats for the 2-5, and then 4 beats, 4 beats for the 1 chord, and then you move on. It's always good to have that circle of 4ths chart in front of you. But trying to pull it up by memory, because then you can focus on your next key, and you can get off that 1 chord. 1, 2, 3, 4. Form it, get it. 1. What's my next key? Where's the 2 chord? 2, 3, 4. 1. What's my next key? What's the 2 chord? 2, 3, 4. 1. And so forth. So that visual aid is going to help you having that circle of 4ths around there. I might have to make this available to download somehow. I don't know. I haven't worked those details out yet, but stay tuned. All right. That's the advanced using the 2-5-1 as we move around the circle. We also have our major 7 flashcards from learning our major 7 chords. Pull those out of the stack and lay those out in a random manner on your music stand here, and do the same thing. Each of those keys represents a 1 chord key center. You've got to find the 2 chord and then the 5 chord responding, and do that exercise. And that's a really good challenge because it's jumping all over the keyboard. You go C, you go to G flat, you go to A, you go to E flat, and it forces you, again with the metronome, it forces you to find those chords on the keyboard. But like I said previously, we have the advantage that we have a visual instrument in front of us. The chords have to almost light up in your mind's eye in order to find them as we are shifting tonalities. We're in the key of G flat. You've got to know where A flat minor 7 is right off. You've got to see those keys light up right here. Otherwise, you'll never find them. You can't go on and live on only the white keys. You can't go on and live learning only 3 scales and 3 tonalities. You have to learn all 12 keys. It's imperative. Not everybody writes in the key of F or the key of B flat or C. Not everybody in rock and roll or country is writing in the key of A or D or E, the so-called guitar chords. you've got to be able to get around all 12 keys of the major scales in order to be proficient as a jazz piano player, even as a novice player. Some of this is going to apply for established piano students. This is going to apply to people that never touch a keyboard unless they happen to pass one out in the hallway. You're going to be able to apply these and effectively to the level that befits your application or your skill level. Like I said earlier, it's something I think all singers should have to sit down and do and learn how to get themselves around and play these chords. Play and form them properly, of course, following my methodology here. We also have the chromatic exercise where we move our key centers up by half steps starting on F, and we have to play the corresponding 2-5 progression going into it. G flat is next. G is next. That's a good challenge too. You can get very proficient just following my methodology of applying these exercises to the circle of fourths, the random shuffle flashcards, and then the chromatic exercise. And the chromatic exercise, of course, you go up, you've got to go and do it in reverse. You've got to go start at the top and go down. Not going to go easy on you guys. The next portion of this is a little bit on the easier side than the exercise of doing the full 2-5-1 progression, but it's to go around the circle, and I think I detailed it earlier, and that is to start on C at the top, and that's your 2 chord, and then your next is your dominant 7th chord. Next on the circle is B flat, that's your next 2 chord, that's your next 5 chord, and so forth. You're alternating as you move around the circle, 2 to 5, 2, 5, 2, 5, 2, 5, 2, 5, and so forth. And then don't forget, start one note, one key backwards on the key, and start G as the G minor, so C can now become C7, dominant 7th chord. Got to get both of those in, right? So the top of the circle is used for both as a 2 chord and as a 5 chord. Let's briefly delve into forming ideas around the 2-5-1 progression, because once we know the progression, our next step is, of course, to be able to get around and play on them. This is where you're going to need a notepad, if you can still buy them. If not, find a site that can provide you with a template for 10 or 12 staves of blank 5-staff music, and print out a few sheets so that you've got the makings of a notebook in your home studio at your piano, and you have to start formulating ideas. So me as your teacher, I'm just going to give you a few ideas for you to jump off on. You've heard me do this before also in previous episodes. We're going to stick with the key of C and go 2-5-1 C. Very simple. Arpeggiate the tertian series on the Dorian mode. We can also do the reverse of that. For the first half, we're going down instead of up, so we go down and down instead of up and down. Write that idea down. Most ideas will have an inverse or reverse that you can play. Have a second idea out of that one idea. You get 2 ideas now. Write that down so that now you can go and play that as you move around the circle of fourths. Again, we need that circle of fourths as our teaching aid here. So our next key is F. There it is, or. Okay, what's our next key? B flat. Or. Okay, you get the idea. Apply the same lick, same riff, same jazz improvisational idea to the 2-5 progressions as you move around the circle. And again, got to use the gnome. He's the drummer that keeps you on track. Let's So you got a live-in drummer, baby brother, Uncle Ron, something like this. That's just one idea. We've got a ton of other ideas that we have to write down. I would say to you, write down at least 4 ideas a week and double that with the ability to maybe change direction on them, right? So now we have 8 ideas out of 4 little germs of ideas that you practice going around the circle of fourths with the metronome. This will start elevating your playing very fast because it's forcing you to see those chords, forcing you to see those 2 chords, those 5 chords as you change tonalities. It's almost as if I could have the magic lighted keyboard, and as we change tonalities, only the keys of that tonality light up. We're in the key of E flat, only E flat keys light up. We're in the key of G flat major, only the G flat keys light up. Then you can see your way around it as a visual aid. I don't have that invention yet. I don't think it exists. But nonetheless, you probably won't be using it for very long because once you start getting good at this, you see it in your mind's eye. It just jumps out at you as you start going around the circle of fourths. And the more you do this, the better you will become. Take it from me. This is the way to go. This is the way to get around and start freeing yourself so that you can play jazz improvisational ideas on your favorite songs. This is Lee James saying goodbye for now. Watch us on our channel, become a subscriber, keep up with me on my Facebook page, and we'll see you the next time.